Commander Alex Reeves stood alone in the Great Hall of the Galactic Council. Tall alien beings from 100 worlds looked down at him. He was the only human in the room. The large screen at the front showed a planet under attack. Red warning lights flashed around the image. This was Noveria, home of the Novan Empire. Their enemies, the cruel Krell, had attacked 3 days ago. "The Novan Queen has been captured," said Admiral Thrix. His insect-like mouth clicked as he spoke. "She is being held in the most secure prison in the galaxy." The Admiral pointed to a dark fortress on the screen. "No one can get in. The Krell have put up energy shields. Our ships cannot land. Our soldiers cannot teleport inside. Our messages cannot reach her." The aliens in the room looked worried. Without their queen, the Novans would lose the war. And if the Novans fell, the Krell would attack other worlds next. "We have sent our best warriors," said a tall blue alien. None returned. "We tried our most advanced technology," said another with glowing eyes. Nothing worked. Alex stepped forward. Though he was smaller than most aliens in the room, his voice was strong and clear. "Let me try," he said. The room fell silent. Then laughter broke out. A human, trying to do what the most advanced species had failed to do. "Human, your species only joined our alliance 2 years ago," said Admiral Thrix. "You don't have our technology. You don't have our abilities. This is not a job for beginners." Alex did not back down. "That's exactly why I might succeed. The Krell are watching for your advanced technology. They're expecting your special powers. But they're not looking for someone like me." The Admiral frowned. "It would be suicide." "Maybe," Alex agreed. "But sometimes the old ways work when new ones fail." After the meeting, the Novan ambassador approached Alex. Her name was Lirith, and her skin shimmered like diamonds in the light. She studied Alex with eyes that changed color as she thought. "Why would you risk your life for our queen?" she asked. "Your planet is far from ours. This is not your war." Alex looked at the map of the galaxy on the wall. Earth was just a tiny dot at the edge. "When Earth joined the Alliance, we promised to stand with our allies," he said. "If we want to be respected in this galaxy, we need to keep our promises." Lirith's eyes turned a deep blue, showing her surprise. "Most species think of themselves first. Humans are different," Alex said. "Sometimes foolishly so." Later that day, the council made their decision. Alex would be allowed to attempt the rescue mission. They didn't believe he would succeed, but they had run out of options. As Alex prepared to leave, Admiral Thrix gave him one final warning. "No one has ever escaped from a Krell prison," he said. "What makes you think you can get in and out alive?" Alex checked his simple equipment, rope, tools, and a few small weapons. Nothing fancy or high-tech. "Because the Krell have never faced a human before," he answered, "and humans have a long history of doing the impossible." The fate of the Alliance now rested on the shoulders of the galaxy's newest member. The mission would begin at dawn. The Novan Royal Engineers stared at Alex with confusion in their glowing eyes. He had just refused their best equipment. "You don't want our energy shield?" asked Chief Engineer Vox. Her blue skin flickered with surprise patterns. "No energy shields," Alex said. "No laser guns. No teleporters. Nothing that uses power the Krell can detect." Instead, Alex picked up a coil of strong rope. He chose a simple metal hook that could be thrown and caught on edges. He selected basic tools made of materials that wouldn't show up on scans. "What will you do with these primitive things?" Vox asked. "Get in without being noticed," Alex replied. "Sometimes simple is better than advanced." For the next 3 days, Alex trained hard. While the Novan soldiers practiced with energy weapons and force fields, Alex worked on climbing, hiding, and moving silently. He studied how to pick locks using simple tools instead of electronic hacking devices. These skills were considered old and useless by most aliens, but Alex knew they might save his life. Lirith, the Novan ambassador, watched Alex train. She seemed both worried and curious. The Krell prison has sensors that can detect a single drop of water falling from a mile away, she said. How will you avoid them? Their sensors look for energy and technology. Alex explained as he practiced climbing a wall. They're not looking for someone using no technology at all. You're putting a lot of faith in being primitive. Alex smiled. I prefer the term resourceful. On the night before the mission, Alex studied the maps of the Krell prison. The maps were incomplete because no spy had ever returned from inside. Several areas were marked with question marks and warnings. Admiral Thrix entered the room, his insect-like face hard to read. The Council has sent a message to the Krell, trying once more to negotiate for the Queen's release, he said. They refused and threatened to attack 3 more planets if we try anything. Then I'd better not fail, Alex said, continuing to study the maps. You still believe you can succeed where our best warriors and technology have failed? The Admiral asked. Humans have something special, Alex said. When things seem impossible, we get stubborn. The Admiral made a clicking sound that might have been a laugh. Stubbornness won't stop Krell weapons. Maybe not, Alex agreed, but it might get me past them before they know I'm there. Later that night, Lilith brought Alex a small metal object. It looked like a simple coin. This belongs to our queen, she said. It's made of Novanian royal metal. If you get close enough to her, it will glow. It doesn't use energy the Krell can detect. Alex took the coin and put it in his pocket. Thank you. Why are you really doing this? Lilith asked quietly. The truth. Alex looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there was Earth, still new to the galactic community. When humans first met aliens, many were scared of us, he said. They thought we were too violent, too unpredictable. This is our chance to show the galaxy that humans fight for what's right, not just for ourselves. Lilith's skin glowed with a color Alex hadn't seen before. The Queen is worth saving, she said, but no one should die trying. I don't plan to die, Alex said with a confident smile. In fact, I plan to bring her back by breakfast 3 days from now. As Lilith left, Alex returned to his preparations. The mission would begin in just a few hours, and the entire galaxy was watching. No pressure at all. The Krell prison stood like a giant black mountain against the red sky. Alex lay flat on his stomach on a distant ridge, looking at the prison through simple binoculars. No electronic scanning devices that might give away his position. Just glass lenses that worked without power. Guards walked along the high walls. Flying machines patrolled the air. Energy fences glowed blue around the entire building. Time to move, Alex whispered to himself. He had arrived on the planet in a small Novan ship that dropped him off 50 miles away from the prison. He had walked the rest of the way, staying hidden. Now came the hard part. Alex moved down from the ridge, keeping low to the ground. The Krell had built their prison on what they thought was an impossible cliff. No one could climb it. At least, that's what they believed. But Alex had been climbing mountains on Earth since he was a teenager. As night fell, Alex reached the bottom of the cliff. He pulled out his rope and hook. With a skilled throw, he sent the hook flying up to catch on a rock ledge. He tested the rope with a hard tug. It held firm. Alex began to climb. The cliff was steep, and the rocks were sharp. One wrong move would mean a deadly fall. But Alex's hands and feet found good holds, and he moved steadily upward. Halfway up, Alex froze. A patrol of Krell guards was passing on a path above him. The Krell were tall, insect-like beings with 4 arms and hard shells. They carried energy weapons and wore helmets with glowing sensors. Alex pressed himself against the cliff, not moving a muscle. The Krell helmets were designed to detect energy weapons and movement, but they weren't looking for something as simple as a human hanging motionless on a rope. The patrol passed, and Alex continued climbing. When he reached the top, he was at the base of the prison wall. No alarms had sounded. Step 1 complete. Alex found a drain pipe that led into the prison. The pipe was too small for the much larger Krell, so they hadn't bothered to secure it well. Using his tools, Alex removed the cover and slipped inside. The pipe was narrow and smelled terrible, but it led him into the maintenance areas of the prison. Alex crawled through the dark tunnel until he reached a metal grate. Looking through it, he could see a corridor inside the prison. 2 Krell guards walked past, talking in their clicking language. "The High Commander will arrive tomorrow," one said. "He wants to question the Queen personally." "She still refuses to talk," the other replied, "even after 3 days in the pain field." Alex felt anger rise in his chest, but he pushed it down. He needed to stay calm. Getting emotional would only get him killed. When the guards were gone, Alex carefully removed the grate and slipped into the corridor. He quickly moved to a shadowy corner. The prison was huge, with many levels and corridors. He needed to find the Queen fast. Alex took out the coin Lilith had given him. It was still dark, showing no glow yet. The Queen wasn't close. Using the incomplete map he had memorized, Alex began moving through the prison. He avoided the main hallways, staying in maintenance tunnels and air ducts whenever possible. Twice he had to freeze and hide as Krell patrols passed by. After an hour, Alex reached a central area of the prison. The coin in his hand began to give off a faint blue light. The Queen was somewhere above him. Just then, alarms began to sound throughout the prison. Red lights flashed in the corridors. Had he been discovered? No. Alex realized this was something else. Through a window, he saw Novan ships attacking the prison from outside. This wasn't a real rescue attempt. It was the diversion the Council had promised to create. With the Krell distracted by the attack, Alex saw his chance. The coin glowed brighter as he found a stairway leading up. "I'm coming, Your Majesty," he whispered. "Just hold on a little longer." Alex followed the glowing coin up 3 levels of the prison. The alarms still blared as Krell soldiers rushed to defend against the Novan ships outside. This was his chance. The coin glowed brighter when he turned down a long hallway with special doors on each side. These must be the high security cells. At the end of the hall stood 2 large Krell guards with heavy weapons. "That's where the Queen must be," Alex whispered to himself. He couldn't fight the guards directly. They were 3 times his size and covered in natural armor. He needed another way. Looking up, Alex spotted an air vent in the ceiling. He jumped, caught the edge, and pulled himself up into the narrow space. The vent ran above the hallway, all the way to the end. Alex crawled quietly, careful not to make any noise that might alert the guards below. When he reached the end, he saw that the vent went down into the room the guards were protecting. The coin in his hand now glowed bright blue. The Queen was definitely in that room. Alex took a small device from his pocket, one of the few pieces of technology he had brought. It was a sound maker that could create a loud noise far away from where he was. He set it to go off in 1 minute, then dropped it down a side vent. When the device activated, it made a sound like an explosion far down the hallway. The guards looked at each other. Then one ran to check what had happened. Only 1 guard remained. Alex dropped silently from the vent behind the remaining guard. Using a technique he had learned in special training, he struck the guard at a weak point where the Krell's armored plates met. The guard fell unconscious. The door had a complex lock, but Alex had studied Krell technology. Using his tools, he worked on the mechanical parts of the lock, bypassing the electronic security. After 10 seconds of work, the lock clicked open. Alex entered the room and saw her, the Novan Queen, Empress Zoravex. She was nothing like he had expected. The Queen stood tall, with shimmering skin that changed colors like a rainbow. She had 4 arms and 3 eyes that seemed to hold galaxies in them. Even in prison, she looked powerful and majestic. The Queen was held in place by energy restraints that glowed red around her wrists and ankles. She looked at Alex with surprise. "You are human," she said, her voice musical and strange. "Why would your kind risk death for me?" Alex moved quickly to the control panel that controlled her restraints. I'm Commander Alex Reeves, Galactic Alliance, and helping allies is what humans do. As he worked on disabling the restraints, the Queen studied him. The Krell believe humans are too primitive to be a threat. They cannot understand minds they cannot read telepathically. That's what I'm counting on, Alex said, as the restraints finally shut down. The Queen tried to stand but stumbled. The Krell had kept her in the restraints for days, and she was weak. Can you walk? Alex asked, offering his shoulder for support. I must, she said, her skin turning a determined blue color. But I need to warn you. The Krell didn't capture me just to win the war. They want something only Novan royalty knows, the location of the ancient key. If they find it, they can build a weapon that could destroy entire solar systems. An explosion shook the prison. The diversion outside was getting more intense. Tell me more as we escape, Alex said, helping her toward the door. Right now, we need to move before that guard comes back. As they left the cell, alarm lights changed from red to purple, the highest alert in the prison. The system had detected that the Queen's restraints were disabled. They know I'm free, the Queen said, her voice urgent. Every Krell in the prison will be looking for us now. Alex gave her a determined smile. Then we'll just have to be smarter than all of them. The real challenge was just beginning. They're sealing all exits, Alex said as he watched heavy metal doors closing throughout the prison. The purple alarm lights made the corridors look strange and threatening. The Queen leaned against the wall, still weak from her time in the restraints. The Krell will use heat scanners next. They will search for my body heat, which is different from theirs. Alex reached into his pack and pulled out a thin silver blanket. Wrap this around you. It reflects heat. It won't fool their scanners completely, but it might confuse them long enough. The Queen looked at the simple blanket with surprise. Your solutions are so basic, yet effective. As they moved through the corridors, Alex checked his mental map of the prison. The way he had come in was now blocked. They needed another exit. What is this ancient key the Krell want? Alex asked as they hid in a storage room, waiting for a patrol to pass by. It's not really a key, the Queen explained, her voice soft. It's knowledge passed down through Novan royal blood. The location of technology created by the first ones, the ancient species that came before all of us. This technology can change the balance of power in the entire galaxy. And the Krell want to use it as a weapon. The Queen's skin darkened. The Krell believe they are the perfect species. They want to remake all worlds to suit themselves, with no place for other life forms. The patrol passed, and they continued moving. Alex led them toward the lower levels, hoping to find a way out through the maintenance areas. Suddenly, the Queen froze. Listen. In the distance, they heard a high-pitched sound that made Alex's skin crawl. What is that? He whispered. Krell hunters, the Queen said, fear showing in her eyes. They are a special type of Krell bred to track escaped prisoners. They can smell Novan blood from half a mile away. Then we need to move faster, Alex said, helping her along. They reached a junction where 3 corridors met. Alex wasn't sure which way to go. The prison maps he had studied didn't show this area clearly. The Queen pointed to a small symbol on the wall. This way. That's a Novan mark. Before the war, this prison was a trading post where my people sometimes visited. There was an emergency exit for Novan diplomats. They followed the corridor with the symbol and found themselves in an older part of the prison. The design was different here, less threatening. There, the Queen said, pointing to a door with faded Novan writing. That leads to a private shuttle bay. If we're lucky, there might still be a ship there. Alex tried the door, but it was locked. Can you open it? Does it recognize Novan royalty? The Queen placed her hand on a dull panel beside the door. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the panel began to glow faintly, and the door slowly opened. Beyond the door was a small bay with a single dusty shuttle. It looked old but intact. "Can you fly this?" Alex asked. The Queen's skin brightened slightly. "Every Novan Royal learns to pilot. But the ship needs power. It's been sitting here for years." Alex examined the shuttle. It was different from human ships, but some principles of machinery were universal. "I think I can get it started. We just need a few minutes." A loud howl echoed through the corridors behind them. The Krell hunters were getting closer. "Work quickly," the Queen said, her voice urgent. "I will try to seal the door, but it won't hold them for long." As Alex worked on the shuttle's power systems, the Queen used what little strength she had recovered to activate the old Novan security protocols on the door. The howls grew louder. Time was running out. "Just a little more time," Alex said, connecting wires inside the shuttle's control panel. Almost there. A heavy thud hit the door from the other side. The Krell hunters had found them. The door shook as the Krell hunters slammed against it. The old metal was bending inward with each hit. "The shuttle needs more time to power up," Alex said, working frantically on the control panel. Lights were beginning to glow on the dashboard, but the engines remained silent. "We don't have more time," the Queen replied, her skin turning a pale gray color that Alex guessed meant fear. The door buckled further, and a clawed hand reached through a gap. The hunters were breaking through. Alex made a quick decision. "Get in the shuttle and keep working on the power. I'll buy us some time." Before the Queen could protest, Alex ran to his pack and pulled out his last pieces of equipment. Among them was a small device the Novan engineers had given him, a sonic disruptor tuned to Krell hearing frequencies. As the door finally gave way, 3 Krell hunters burst into the bay. They were different from regular Krell soldiers, leaner, faster, with extra sensory organs on their heads. Their mandibles clicked eagerly when they spotted the Queen. Alex stepped between them and the shuttle, looking for someone. He activated the sonic disruptor. The device made no sound that Alex could hear, but the effect on the Krell was immediate. They staggered backwards, clutching their head organs in pain. But the disruptor wouldn't last long. Its battery was limited, and Alex could already see one of the hunters beginning to recover. Inside the shuttle, the Queen was making progress. More lights were coming on, and a low hum started from the engines. "Just a little longer," she called. The first hunter lunged at Alex. Despite its pain, it was incredibly fast. Alex dodged, but not quickly enough. The Krell's claws caught his arm, cutting deep. Alex cried out but kept moving. He couldn't match the Krell for strength or speed, but he had trained for fighting larger opponents. When the hunter charged again, Alex used its momentum against it, sending it crashing into a wall. The disruptor was losing power. The other 2 hunters were recovering, advancing slowly but steadily. "Alex," the Queen called. "The engines are starting. Get in now." Alex backed toward the shuttle, keeping his eyes on the hunters. Just as he reached the door, the largest hunter leaped forward with impossible speed. Alex felt sharp claws dig into his leg as he was pulled away from the shuttle. He fell hard to the floor, the hunter standing over him with triumph in its alien eyes. Just then, something unexpected happened. The Queen appeared at the shuttle door, her skin glowing with a bright blue light. She raised her 4 arms, and energy crackled between her fingers. "Step away from him," she commanded in a voice that seemed to shake the room. The hunter hesitated, confused by this display of power. The Queen shouldn't have been able to use her energy abilities after being in restraints for days. That moment of hesitation was all Alex needed. He kicked upward at a weak joint in the hunter's leg, something he had learned from studying Krell anatomy. The hunter stumbled, and Alex rolled away, scrambling toward the shuttle. The Queen helped pull him inside, then slammed her hand on the door control. As the door closed, the hunters recovered and charged. But they were too late. "How did you do that?" Alex asked, breathing hard as he clutched his wounded arm. "I thought the restraints drained your energy." They did, the Queen said, her skin now a dull color. That was the last of my strength. It was just a display. I couldn't actually have hurt them. Alex smiled through his pain. Sometimes a good bluff is all you need. The shuttle engines roared to full power. The Queen took the controls, her hands moving with practiced skill, despite her weakened state. "Can you fly us out of here?" Alex asked, applying pressure to his wounds. "The bay doors are sealed," she said, pointing to the massive doors that separated them from open sky. "We need to override the controls." Alex looked at the control panel, then at the approaching hunters who were now trying to break through the shuttle door. "Or," he said with a determined grin, "we could just make our own door." "Make our own door?" the Queen asked, her 3 eyes widening. "This shuttle has weapons, right?" Alex said, looking at the control panel. The Queen nodded. "Basic defense lasers. Not very powerful after all these years, but they still work. Aim them at the bay doors and fire everything we've got," Alex suggested. The Queen understood immediately. She targeted the shuttle's lasers at the center of the bay doors and fired. Red beams shot forward, hitting the metal doors. At first, nothing seemed to happen. "It's not working," the Queen said, her voice tense. "Keep firing," Alex urged. "Those doors are old. They must have weak spots." The lasers continued to hit the same spot. After a few more seconds, the metal began to glow red. Then a small hole appeared. Behind them, the Krell hunters had begun cutting through the shuttle door with their own weapons. They would break through in less than a minute. "We need more power," Alex said, looking around the shuttle. "Is there anything we can redirect to the weapons?" The Queen thought for a moment. "Life support. We won't need it if we escape quickly." With a few quick movements, she rerouted power from life support to the weapons. The laser beams grew stronger, and the hole in the bay doors widened. "That's it," Alex said, "just a little more." The hole was now large enough for the shuttle to fit through. Just as the Queen turned the shuttle toward the opening, the hunters broke through the door behind them. "Hold on," the Queen shouted as she pushed the engines to maximum power. The shuttle shot forward toward the hole in the bay doors. It was going to be tight. Very tight. The sides of the shuttle scraped against the edges of the hole, sending sparks flying. For a terrifying moment, they seemed stuck. Then, with a final surge of power, they broke free and burst out into open air. "We made it," Alex exclaimed, looking back at the prison growing smaller behind them. But their celebration was short-lived. Alarms blared in the shuttle as 3 Krell fighter ships appeared on the sensors. "They're coming after us," the Queen said, "and this old shuttle can't outrun them." Alex looked at the controls. "Can we reach space? Get to the Alliance ships?" The Queen shook her head. "Not in time. The Krell will catch us first." As the fighter ships closed in, Alex noticed something on the navigation screen. A deep canyon running through the mountains not far away. "Head for that canyon," he said. "I have an idea." The Queen steered the shuttle toward the canyon. The Krell fighters followed, gaining on them rapidly. "These fighters are designed for open space," Alex explained. "They're not good at tight turns in atmosphere, but this shuttle is smaller and more maneuverable." Understanding dawned on the Queen's face. She guided the shuttle into the narrow canyon, weaving between rock formations with impressive skill. The Krell fighters followed but struggled with the tight space. One clipped its wing on a rock and spiraled into the canyon wall, exploding in a ball of fire. "It's working," Alex said. The second fighter, learning from the first mistake, kept more distance but lost ground. The third remained close behind, firing weapons that barely missed them. As they flew deeper into the canyon, the Queen spotted a natural tunnel through the mountain ahead. "There," she said. "If we can make it through that tunnel, it leads to the other side of the mountain range. The Krell ships are too big to follow." She aimed the shuttle at the narrow opening. It would be an extremely tight fit, much tighter than the hole they had made in the bay doors. "Are you sure about this?" Alex asked. gripping his seat tightly. The Queen's skin turned a determined blue color. "No, but sometimes you have to take impossible chances. I think humans understand that better than anyone." As they raced toward the tunnel with the Krull fighter still in pursuit, Alex couldn't help but smile despite the danger. They still might not survive, but at least they would go down fighting. The Queen looked at him. "If we don't make it, I want you to know that what you did, risking everything for an alien queen you never met, it has changed how I see humans forever." The tunnel entrance grew larger in their view. It was time for one final, desperate gamble. The shuttle raced toward the narrow tunnel entrance. Behind them, the Krull fighter fired repeatedly, each shot coming closer. "We won't fit at this speed," Alex shouted as the tunnel entrance grew larger in front of them. The Queen's hands moved quickly over the controls. "We have to slow down, but if we do, the Krull will hit us." A laser blast from the Krull fighter hit their left engine. The shuttle shook violently, alarms blaring. "We're losing power," the Queen said, her voice steady despite the danger. Alex looked at the damage report on the screen. "The left engine is failing. But maybe that's not a bad thing." "What do you mean?" "If we cut power to both engines just before the tunnel and glide in, we might fit through. And the Krull might think we've crashed." It was a desperate plan, but they had no other choice. The Queen nodded and prepared to cut the engines. As they approached the tunnel, the Queen timed it perfectly. She cut all power and turned the shuttle sideways. The craft's momentum carried them forward, sliding through the narrow opening with barely inches to spare. The Krull fighter tried to follow but was too large. It pulled up at the last second, unable to enter the tunnel. Inside the dark tunnel, the shuttle scraped against the rocky walls as it glided through. Sparks flew as metal ground against stone. The noise was deafening. After what seemed like forever, they emerged on the other side of the mountain. The Queen quickly restarted the remaining engine before they lost too much altitude. "We made it," Alex said, hardly believing it himself. The Queen checked the sensors. No sign of the Krull fighters. "I think they've lost us." They flew low over the planet's surface, heading toward the coordinates where Alliance ships would be waiting. The shuttle was damaged and moving slowly, but they were alive and free. As they flew, the Queen turned to Alex. "The Council said humans were too new to the galaxy to be trusted with important missions, but you proved them wrong." Alex smiled through his pain. His arm and leg still bled from the hunter's claws. "Humans are good at proving people wrong. It's one of our talents." The Queen's skin glowed with warm colors. "When we return, I will tell the Council that humanity deserves a full seat at the Alliance. Your people have earned it." "That would be nice," Alex said. "But honestly, I just wanted to complete the mission." After an hour of flying, they spotted Alliance ships in the distance. The Queen sent a special signal that identified her, and soon they were surrounded by friendly vessels providing protection. A large Novan ship opened its bay doors to receive them. As they landed the damaged shuttle, medical teams rushed forward. Lyrith, the Novan ambassador, was waiting. Her eyes filled with tears of joy when she saw her queen alive. She looked at Alex with new respect. "You did the impossible," she said as medical staff helped him from the shuttle. Admiral Thrix arrived, his insect face showing surprise. "A human succeeded where our best failed. Perhaps we have underestimated your species." The Queen stood tall despite her exhaustion. "Commander Reeves did more than rescue me. He showed us what courage truly means." The Krull believe they are superior because of their technology and strength, but they do not understand the power of determination and sacrifice. As the medical team treated his wounds, Alex thought about Earth. His home was far away, a small planet at the edge of the galaxy. But today, he had changed how the entire Alliance saw humans. They said rescuing the alien queen was a suicide mission. Admiral Thrix noted, but a human dared to try. "And succeeded," the Queen added. "That is something the galaxy will never forget." Alex smiled. This was just the beginning. Humanity had much more to offer the galaxy, and now they would get their chance to prove it.